But if it were the case that it were conducive to well-being for people to have intercourse with dead bodies, then I would be fine with it.
Understood. Ladies and gentlemen, the case for the Christian ethics system made by Omni. What I'm going to try and do here is I feel like I'm talking to a Mount the Infidel 2.0. So what I'll do is kind of try and advance the conversation and build it and move it forward with this. Omni, under utilitarianism, is if the situation yielded, pleasure, mental well-being, and the most utils, right, for society, would you deem it moral to have intercourse with a dead body?
Yeah. I think that it does not. And so as a result, I'm against having intercourse with a dead body. But if it were the case that it were conducive to well-being for people to have intercourse with dead bodies, then I would be fine with it. And I think that if we look at all of the things that we think are morally objectionable, basically all of them seem to not be conducive to well-being. Murder doesn't maximize well-being, like torturing people doesn't maximize well-being, etc.
Okay, so I think you would even take it further. They don't even have to be dead, right? They can be alive as well, right?
Right. I think that all of the things that are bad because they are not conducive to well-being.
Understood. Ladies and gentlemen, the case for the Christian ethics system made by Omni. That'll be my opening statement. I'll start the clock up right here. Omni, you can start asking questions whenever you want.
Yeah. So one issue that I would have with the Christian ethics system. So do you the first question would be, would you accept my first premise that agents who are acting morally should try to do what makes the world the best?
If you knew about Reformed theology, agents do exactly what their desires are presented to them. So they don't have a free will. They have what is called a creaturely will. So depending on what kind of nature you have, you're either going to be doing what's pleasing to God or what's in rebellion to God. This is for the purpose of obviously glorifying God ultimately, either in his justice or in his grace.
Sure. But so the question was, do you think that that agents should take the action that brings about the best state of the world? Yes or no?
Yes, I believe everybody should follow Christ.
Okay, the question is not whether everybody should follow Christ. The question is whether everybody should take the action that brings about the best state of the world.
And I'm telling you, that's the one that brings about the best state of the world.
Okay, so you accept... Okay, so just, it's a yes to the question. Do you think that a world without malaria would be a better state of the world?
That's the world, the kingdom of Christ that he offers, yes.
Okay, so then why did God make malaria?
To demonstrate what happens when a fool parts from his word and relies on his own wisdom.
Sure, but you just said that a world without malaria would be better than a world with malaria, right?
A world with malaria is produced by fools who abandon God. A world without malaria is a world incongruent with God, right?
We're not asking about how we got a world without malaria. The question is just, if you think that people should take the action that brings about the best state of the world, and you think that
that's becoming Christian.
I'm aware that you think that, and you think that it would be a better state of the world if there were not malaria. Then it follows deductively, it follows logically and inescapably, as William Lane Craig is fond of saying when he's presenting deductive arguments.
I'm not with William Lane Craig. I rebuke William Lane Craig.
Yeah. No, I wasn't saying that you agree with William Lane Craig. I was just making.
Then why'd you bring him up?
William Lane Craig. It was just a joke.
Okay, go for it.
It follows logically and inescapably that that God should not have brought malaria into the world.
I'm sorry?
If you accept that a world without malaria is better than a world with malaria, and that agents should take actions which bring about the better state of the world, then it follows from those two premises that God should have brought about a world that did not have malaria instead of this world which does have malaria.
Well, that's the underlying purpose of our existence. The underlying purpose of our existence is not to make the best world, it's to glorify God.
But you just said that what agents should do is to bring about the best state of the world.
What agents should do is what God commands them to do and has made them to do.
But
as a result of their nature that was ultimately planned beforehand in eternity past, They choose to be fools, and they choose to part from God's word,
Okay,
and they
but
choose to ultimately destroy themselves when they have what is pretty much the best situation possible.
Okay, so did you or did you not say earlier that agents should take actions which bring about a better state of the world?
Well, it's not what I think, it's what the Bible says.
Did you or did you not say that? I understand that the position that you're arguing is allegedly influenced by the Bible.
Well,
but I'm not
you're
arguing with the
asking.
Bible right now. I'm arguing with you, Pedro. So,
well, no, you are arguing with. See, that's the difference. You believe
well,
in
I'm arguing with you parroting the Bible, right? So you have to defend your views.
But you don't understand that I don't believe in subjectiveness, right? I believe in objectiveness. So you're parroting a subjective world where you can pretty much practice necrophilia because it yields the most utils. I'm not.
Well, I don't think that it's subjective at all. I'm a moral realist. I think that well-being is objectively good, and I think that suffering is objectively bad.
Okay, I don't see how that has to do with us on this side of the table who are telling you how to make the most objective decision, which is to follow Christ and ultimately yield a better society that is probably going to be disease-free and yielding the most utils possible.
Okay, so moving back to the question that I asked you, Pedro. So the question was, did you earlier say that agents should take actions which bring about a better state of the world?
Yes.
Okay. And you also said that it would be a better state of the world if there was not malaria. So by modus ponens, God should not have brought about malaria.
Okay.
It follows from those two premises that God shouldn't have brought about malaria.
If it follows, but that's not the purpose of the world.
Regardless of what the purpose of the world is, you said.
Well, there's no. Well, what is the purpose of the world, Omni?
Well, I don't understand what that question means. But
what is the purpose of bringing about all the fabric of reality?
I don't believe that there was an agent who brought it about with a purpose. I think that
so. There's no purpose in your worldview, right?
No, there is purpose in my worldview. I don't think that.
Thank you.
Purpose,
okay, where does that purpose come from?
So I think that purpose comes from natural facts, which possess normative features. So I think that upon reflection, we can recognize really quick, the truth that suffering is bad.
A fact infers that there is some kind of objective standard to measure opinions that are differing against and prove something correct or not. Right?
Well, so I think that I don't think that objective facts. So objective facts require that there is some feature of the world in virtue of which something is truly the case, such that if you don't realize that that's the case, then you're objectively wrong. I think that is true of the desirability.
So you believe in objective morality, right?
Yeah, I said that like 5 minutes ago.
Perfect. So going forward, where does that objective standard get established, and by who or what does it get established? Where does it come from? Give us a genesis point.
Okay, so it's not a question of who establishes it, because it, like scientific facts, it is not established by a particular agent. There's no agent who makes it so that water is H2O. There's no agent who makes it so that 2 + 2 = 4. I think that the badness of suffering is a necessary fact that is true across all possible universes. Exactly the same way that
I'm trying to get through less diatribes. I just want to know real quickly, are subjective agents making up the objective facts that you're talking about?
No, they're not making them up. They're discovering them.
So they don't come from human beings, right?
Correct.
And they don't come from some kind of higher authority like the triune God of the Bible, right? They come from nowhere.
They come from the same place numbers come from. Pedro, where does the
Which is where, Omni?
Well,
where?
The numbers analogy. The point is that there's not some realm where we stumble across numbers, right? Mathematical truths are necessary.
But you're going into a diatribe, sir. You're saying they don't come from a God, right? You're saying they don't come from human beings, right? We're all knocked out. We're all unconscious. We don't exist. Where are they coming from then?
So they are necessary truths that exist across all possible worlds. Where do you think?
Where do all the possible worlds come from? Where does the MCU multiverse come from?
they're what? Wait, what? Possible worlds are things.
I know. I watch Marvel, Possible Worlds. I watched Captain Rogers go through all of it. I read the comic books back in the day. Tell me where all of it comes from.
Wait till Zen Shapiro hears about this and gets worried about talking about alternative realities, alleged fantasy lands.
Well, we're just trying to figure out where everything comes from, Omni.
Well, possible
Make
worlds.
sure you give him a chance to answer you, though, Pedro.
Gotcha.
So possible worlds, like mathematical truths and modal truths, they don't exist anywhere in spatio-temporal reality. There's not some realm where we find numbers. There's not some realm where we actually find possible worlds, unless David Lewis is to be believed in his modal realism. But nonetheless, they're as true as any truth could be. I mean, so I'll pose the question right back to you. Where do you
No. That's not an answer. I need you to say...
I just answered the question.
No, I need you to say it all comes from nothing.
Wait...
I need you to give me a straight answer. It all comes from nothing.
It doesn't all come from nothing. The question of where it comes from is an ill-conceived question.
No. It's you begging the question, sir. That's a question that deserves to be answered. I give you the triune God of the Bible as my answer, the eternal, everlasting Elohim.
Is the triune?
But you give me no. But you use sophistry to dance around it, right? I'm being nice with you, but you need to be honest with me at the same time and say this. I know that the universe and all the fabric of the reality that make up time, space, and matter come from absolutely nothing.
So
be honest.
There are two things that have to be distinguished. In terms of where the universe comes from, I don't know. Maybe it came from nothing. Maybe it came from some eternal
okay,
thing.
I'll take the I don't know. I'll take I don't know.
Emergent property.
Okay, but I'll take I don't know.
Pedro, I wasn't done with the answer. Okay,
let him finish, Pedro.
Yeah. Okay. So the question of where spatio-temporal things come from is a very different question from where mathematical truths and moral truths come from. Mathematical truths and moral truths, there's nothing that causes their truth. They're just true simplicator. 2 + 2 equaling 4 is not something that emerges from something else. It's just a necessary thing that can't be otherwise.
It's a brute fact, right? It's brute force.
No, it's not a brute fact. It is a logical necessity. A brute fact.
A logical necessity is a brute fact. Yes.
No,
you just didn't anonymize my words.
No, a logical necessity is not a brute fact. What do you think? Tell me, what do you think a brute fact is?
When you just say, well, this is how it is, and I don't have to tell you wherever it comes from, even though I don't know where it comes from. It's just a brute fact, sir.
A brute fact.
Just like a logical necessity is like, well, it's necessary for us to say that 2 + 2 = 4, sir.
Okay,
I don't have to explain why you think it equals 2 + 2 = 4, but it just does. It's a logical necessity.
The whole point of brute facts is that brute facts are a different type of thing from things that are necessary. Brute facts are things that are contingent, but that don't follow from anything necessary. So I think that the universe is likely to be a brute fact. I don't think that the universe had to exist. 2 + 2 = 4 does have to exist. Do you think that if God had been different? Wait, Pedro. Do you think that if God had been different, 2 + 2 would not have equaled 4?
There is no different triune God.
But if God had been different, do you think
you don't understand that? You're talking now. You're going into the nature of God. There's the nature of God is perfect. I watched your Matt. We're going through your Matt Slick debate already, dog. I already saw your Matt. You're right. Yeah, we saw that. I'm trying to move you forward. This is where I wanted to actually move forward because I don't want to do my mouthy infidel debate all over again. I want to reach the logical conclusion where we both are honest, right? And say that one has an explanation, one doesn't, one is consistent, the other is not. Let's have that conversation.